Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be recapping the price action from Monday, July 6th, where I took two trades, one on YM and one on NQ, and I'm going to be going over both of them. So let me switch back to NQ for now, and I'll have the Dow here. So from the daily, what were we expecting for today? So this is a Monday. Mondays are lower probability. That's why I executed both trades with half size. So just basing it off this previous closure on Thursday, um, I was a bit leaning bearish on NQ, maybe ideally wanting to see NQ take out this previous day low and then see what it wants to do. On the other assets though, I was leaning bullish because we have this really nice closure on ES following a tap inside this fair value gap, and then YM is just blasting through its all-time highs. So overall, I was bearish on NQ and bullish on ES and YM. On the 7-hour, what did we see? Well, we opened inside of this fair value gap created from Friday. And you can see that on NQ, this is actually a BPR. So we have this bearish gap and then this bullish gap. So basically this becomes the BPR. And you can see that we have clearly respected CE of this BPR. So that was a good sign. And then what maybe take NQ? Well, if we just take a look at how this particular Monday opened, and so not taking into account this Friday. So we opened initially low, and then we started trading away from this open. So NQ just going into 930 was the strongest asset to the upside compared to YM, which you can see just by this closure here. We have actually a two-stage at this low, where you can see that London closed bearish on YM while it closed bullish on NQ. Just on the 4-hour, this low was really nicely made inside of a fair value gap. So everything was pretty much checking out for us to be going to the upside. And if we look here at 930, I've seen that we have started to slowly creep up, but I wanted to see some form of manipulation before going in. And you can see that right at 930, we took out these lows here and these lows here that were the low of the day on NQ. And if we drop to the 5-minute, so at 930, we had a small run up and then we started displacing to the downside. This was just a Judas swing, but I wanted to see how deep YM would go and what targets would YM have before it starts to turn back and seek buy side again. So I was looking at the left side of the chart, and we had a lot of fair value gaps in this area, but we also had these lows here. This is actually a high resistance low, given that it has taken out this short-term low here. So I was waiting to see whether we respect these fair value gaps or we just blast straight through them and then see the reaction out of that. So that is why coming into 10 o'clock, because I didn't want to take any trades prior to 10, not only because we had news at 10, but also Trump was speaking. So I didn't want to just mess with the first trading day of the week, not only because this was a holiday weekend, but also Trump speaking. He could say literally anything. I've seen that reporters starting asking him some questions about the war at the end of the event. So anything could have happened. And I just waited for it all to end. And I think it ended at around 10:20, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But the thing is, right here at 10:05, this was a pretty nice entry given that we had SMT like this, so we have our SMT pointing like this, and I didn't trust this as a protected low because we didn't have any point of interest here apart from this SMT fill sequence like this, where you can see that this low was lower than the 945 low. So we have that formed from SMT fill, but I don't know, I just didn't really trust this because Trump was not done speaking and YM was just closing really close to its low. So just didn't give me any reversal signature whatsoever. So I just skipped that and I was waiting for a retracement back into the range. And here at 11:15, I've seen that we have started to make our way down, and I waited for some kind of SMT to maybe get us to this high. And why didn't I trade ES? Well, I think it was around here. Yeah. So at around 11, that is when I started looking at the potential trade I could take. And let me mark out this high. So around there. So this was, I think, here. Yeah. No, here. So if I were to enter around here with my stop on this low, I don't have any room to trade up to that high. Maybe just jamming my stop. Yeah, but there was no way. There was no way I could have traded this. So I opted to trade NQ because I've seen that it was more displacive to the upside, and we still had room to the buy side liquidity. And I really liked that we had this ideal C2 closure, taking out some liquidity here, and just having this as a PSP, as another confluence, um, really made me trade this, even though we were at the high of day and inside of this fair value gap. Um, I don't know. I just assumed NQ was gonna be the strength leader and just push through those highs. I was gonna go break even as soon as we had another continuation order block, but as you can see, we didn't get pretty much anything. And not only that, but at 1300, Trade of 8 glitched and it closed all the orders on Tradify. I think they messed up with the previous day, which was Friday, and they prematurely closed everyone's positions here. But anyway, I was down close to half hour, and I was just watching how 1400 would open up, and you can see that just based on how the previous candle closed, I wasn't really that bullish on NQ, given that this was such a nice C2 following um, this buy side liquidity getting taken. So NQ was pretty much out of the question for me. And the best asset to trade was not ES because I've seen ES take out this high. And yeah, we had this high still really close, but I just wanted to see YM just go up to this 6 o'clock 4 hour high because this was left open. And that is why I checked back to YM. So let me switch this to NQ as well. So again, we had this really nice closure, PSP with SMT. So everything was really looking just amazing on YM. And 1400 just started going up really aggressively. And at 1500, I was just looking to get on side with this move. We had this order block created inside of a gap, closure above, so valid continuation order block until we hit the draw. So I was just looking at these gaps here and this bearish gap, and not only did we invert this gap, but if we look on the 5 minute, on the 15 minute, sorry, this was SMT fell with ES here. So this actually went lower, and on ES we have equal lows, and on AQ just higher lows. So we have that. And if you drop to the 1 minute, I just basically took this continuation entry. So we have the initial order block, validating that, and another closure above. And basically, once we closed above that bearish gap here, we have the bearish gap closing above, and not only closing above the gap, but also closing above this bearish candle here. So I was going to be safe, and I put my stop to the bodies of this initial 15 candles low. So I was targeting the highs here, and that was just a perfect 2-hour trade. And you can see that the price grinded higher for close to a 3-hour trade. But overall, I feel like this entry was pretty good, just aligning that 15-minute C2 with the overall structure, and realizing that YM was the cleanest asset to trade to the upside because it had the cleanest framework on the higher time frames. So yeah, this is gonna be it, guys. Just I think it was like, yeah, just a half-hour day, a initial half-hour loss, and then 1 hour to end the day with. So that is gonna be just half-hour, which is pretty good given that this was a Monday post holiday. So if you enjoyed these types of recaps, please don't hesitate to hit that like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.